President Obama left Cuba tonight for Argentina. He was in Havana when he got word of the attacks in Brussels and did not allow the terrorists to change his travel plans. Margaret Brennan is with the president.
In a secure call early this morning, President Obama was briefed on the bombings.
We will do whatever is necessary to support our friend and ally Belgium in bringing to justice those who are responsible.
But at his keynote address, and with the Cuban leader Raul Castro looking on, the president quickly turned back to his historic trip.
I have come here to bury the last remnant of the Cold War in the Americas.
He touted the benefits of democracy to a still authoritarian country and pointed to America's presidential campaign as proof that anything is possible.
You had two Cuban Americans in the Republican Party running against the legacy of a black man who was president while arguing that they're the best person to beat the Democratic nominee, who will either be a woman or a Democratic socialist. Who would have believed that back in 1959?
Later, the president and First Family joined Castro at a baseball game between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cuban national team.
We condemn the acts of terrorism in Belgium. For this, we request a minute of silence.
After a moment of silence for the victims in Belgium, the mood lightened. The two leaders did the wave and cheered a play at the plate. President Obama told ESPN that changing his schedule would have let the terrorists win.
What they can do is scare and make people afraid and disrupt our daily lives and divide us. And as long as we don't allow that to happen, we're going to be okay.
White House officials believe that terrorism is a persistent threat, but one that they can manage. And Scott, the president feels strongly that it shouldn't dominate the U.S. agenda.
Margaret Brennan covering the historic trip to Havana. Margaret, thank you.
Well, the presidential candidates weighing in on the bombings in Brussels, one taking direct aim at President Obama, who was traveling overseas, for a lack of attention to the terror attacks. Listen to this.
ISIS has declared jihad. They have declared their intention to murder.
What looked to be fairly sophisticated, coordinated attacks is deeply distressing.
I'm a little surprised that the president is going to a baseball game. Had I been president, I would have cut short my visit.
The day will come when ISIS no longer exists.
In my opinion, this is just the beginning. It will get worse and worse because we are lax and we are foolish.
The White House is on defense as President Obama faces criticism for choosing to continue his overseas trip and even attended a baseball game in Cuba. The former CIA director suggesting this was a sign that the president doesn't view the attacks as all that important.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound pretty harsh, but I think it's true. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't weakness. That was policy. His going to the ballpark and his spending less than a minute commenting on the attack. I actually believe in his heart of hearts the president's policy is that is not that big a deal. There are other things that are more important, and that was what.
Why is there a disconnect in what we feel and that versus what we see?
Well, these are just empty words. He said we have to unite to defeat the terrorists. But how? How are we going to defeat the terrorists while he's watching a ball game and giving interviews to ESPN? The fact is that we have to do something concrete. And also, it is the duty of the commander-in-chief to rally the people, to send a message that we will fight and we will destroy this evil scourge that is global jihadism. It's not enough to say, oh, we're on top of it. Remember, the day before San Bernardino, the second largest attack on U.S. soil after September the 11th, both the President and Secretary Kerry said, ISIL is contained and we are winning this war. This is not how you win war.
Snyder.